saying that your economic policy today is being framed not here in Abuja, not in Lagos, but somewhere in Washington. That your government, the government you elected, will tell you that evidence that it is performing is that the IMF has given it a clean bill of health. IMF.
Teacher, 100,000, 2 copies. Thank you, sir. Chairman,
Dr. I know you are in a hurry for time, but you can give me 5 minutes ahead. Thank you so much. And then Your Highness, and then thank you for the opportunity to come here. I'm not an old boy of OGS, but I wanted a connection with OGS. My father was an old boy here. Yes. Old boy here. In fact, my DG just told me that my father was on the 74 set. All right, good. So, if we had opportunity to listen to, I'm sure any opportunity for the old boys to talk about their experiences here, it will align with what my father told me about the person, Dr. UKEGBU, and the institution of OGS. The impression I had is that the man UKEGBU was a strong disciplinarian. Even though my father said it was one of his favorite, but he could show me scars about Piara, and that shaped who he later became too at individual level. And that brings me straight into the lecture. I wish that Dr. Amadi had even made a hard copy of that lecture. You need to read that lecture. I've read it. I've read the lecture, and I finished reading it by 5:30 a.m. And by 7:30, I had made my comments, which I had written down, and I'll send it to you. It's just about 7-page analysis of the lecture, because I felt that I'm OGS, and my father told me that OGS had only the best of the best, and I felt that if I'm coming here, then I should be intellectually ready and prepared to engage with those never had at comprehensive secondary school, that we can also match that same energy, and all that. So I thought it was going to be an intellectual fireworks, but I saw that because of the time we are starting and the setting of the whole thing, that Dr. Madi could not, this is where he thrives. He could not, and he had to go extempore. And part of the things he was talking about is about the model that Dr. NNANNA UKEGBU tried to develop, anchored on education, although there was also the aspect of health. And the critical point in that lecture, for those who have not read it but try and read it, is that if Nigeria had listened to the voice, the policies, the prescription of NNANNA UKEGBU, that Nigeria would today have been a different country, not just a different. In fact, he made a goal to say either would have been part of the Asian Tiger Miracles or part of the OECD countries. And then Dr. Madina debated by saying that even though, again, he distanced himself from the post-colonial theory, but then the lecture leans heavily on the development states. And one of the brilliance of the lecture too was that he used some scholars from the developing states. I saw references to people like Pope Frederick List, Morgan Scholz, and Hajun Chang. And then that's where I now begin to depart from Dr. Madi's position. Dr. Madi's position that, the totality of the fault of the Nigerian state is because, one, that great individuals like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe were not been allowed, Dr. NNANNA UKEGBU were not allowed to assume positions of power or politics. It's slightly, I think, it's a minimalist explanation of the Nigerian, indeed the African situation. Because that you should try to run away from, which is to say that we can't blame the colonial history. Is at the core, at the heart of Africa's underdevelopment. And I'm very happy you mentioned how Europe underdeveloped Africa, and that brilliant piece, which has not been challenged, is centered on the role that the colonial history of the African nations, how the colonial history, how it is at the core of our underdevelopment. Now, if you look at it, therefore, and juxtapose it to the theory that you try to build, Dr. UKEGBU's developmental state theory, you find out that there are other factors that would have made it difficult for people like Dr. UKEGBU to succeed, because you can't succeed in the vacuum. We have tried the model of the incorruptible statesman. I mean, we tried it with Obasanjo. We tried it with Buhari. We saw how that failed. We found out that incorruptible statesman cannot function in a very corrupt state. So today, if you make, for example, our brother, and we know him as a man that has distinguished himself, has shown that he's a man that has integrity, I believe you today make him the governor of Imo State and not change certain other factors, he may not succeed. Because you have to look at the first thing, the class structure of the environment you're operating on. You have to look at the bureaucratic capacity of the environment you are working from. You have to look at some of the even ethnic considerations at the national level. Even bring it home to Imo State here. And when I sub what do you call it, cleavages, Owerri zone, Olu zone, Okigwe zone. They give you Owerri zone about where this thing, they have Mbike, about where Eba, then Eba about where Ngwapala, and then about Osheba. It continues and it's critical. For me, who is just venturing into politics, I can tell you that sometimes we can't even move forward because even appoint individuals who have the capacity and actually and you bring it to how do you move forward? And these are factors that are important in development. That you have to say you want to develop. Yes, you have the ideas. Yes, you want to move forward. But if you don't reconcile these small cleavages, like I said, the issue of our colonial past at the national level, the issue of bureaucratic capacity, the issue of internal, and then even policies, for example, of external influences. Some people call them externalities. How do you reconcile the fact that I know here a foreign government is bombing our country, whether justified or not justified, is not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that your economic policy today is being framed not here in Abuja, not in Lagos, but somewhere in Washington. That your government, the government you elected, will tell you that evidence that it is performing is that the IMF has given it a clean bill of health. IMF. The World Bank is saying that the growth potential, IMF and World Bank. And that is evidence, and these are agencies, organizations that have been set up to make sure that no developing country, no African country develops. But that is the people that have set up your government, the people that they draw inspiration from. You see that in a country where policies, for example, they mentioned the Asian tigers, who deliberately use subsidies to drive the economy, but we have demonized subsidy in our country. Subsidy is not just about what they tell you, for something. And let me even say this. Even in America, any product that is core, that is critical to the nation, the country takes interest in how the pricing of that commodity. It can come in any way. It could be very subtle. It could be as brazen as a bank is collapsing and they say this bank is too big to collapse, a direct fund, or a global behemoth like maybe what you call the motor company, General Motors and all that. Is that clear? In China today, export is so cheap because every chain in every value chain is subsidized by the state, whether it is logistics. In fact, logistics in China is almost at zero cost to the manufacturer. Do everything to ensure that Chinese goods remain as cheap as possible and is global. The American government today subsidizes research and development, but here in our country, for a single movement in price in petroleum, you have multiple movements in every other thing. I am not saying that the corrupt practices in subsidy should be sustained. I'm saying that there are certain things that could have been done.
So the development stakes comes with other things, which Dr. Madi brilliantly, prescribed, and he anchored it on Professor Hajun Chang's, model. But even Hajun Chang, if you read his book, Bad Samaritans, or even his book, the one talking about kicking away the ladder, it will tell you how foreign countries played active role in making sure that the same economic policies and panacea that work for them is not embraced by African countries. So I don't bore you with too much academic stuff. We are going to stop here. There will be time for us to discuss this and espouse this. Dr. Madi, I know we want to react, but we will leave here. We will have other places.
So you understood the connection between agriculture, industry, and urban. So I think their thesis is right. So I won't argue.
At this one, we'll let him go. I will not add anything on that. As a scholar myself, I will always have something to say. I show the man and all that you should not give microphone to when you are in a want for time. Go away, a teacher. Go away, politician. Go away, so I will also be leaving now, but I want to make a little contribution to to OGS, not the book. I know that the book is meant to attract money to develop some critical infrastructures here, UKEGBU, and that is okay. We are like that. So I would be giving the sum of 5 million naira for this. And at this point in time, I will beg the permission of Your Royal Highness, my fathers, my mothers, and everyone that should be. Thank you for this opportunity, and God bless you all.